Hey, welcome back to my series on Race to the North, the Farming Sims version. We have added in extended industries with the mail add-on. I am down here at Southampton again. I'd just like a quick breeze over. Look, it's almost Christmas, and this might be one of my last episodes before Christmas, so I'm going to take the opportunity to wish you all very Merry Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a great one. If you don't, well, then I hope you enjoy the holidays. But either way, I hope everyone has a great time over the next week or two across Christmas and New Year's. Like I said, I might not make too many episodes over the next, say, 2 weeks, where I've got a lot of obviously family commitments. I'm a grandfather of four adults, children, two boys, two girls. They have amongst them uh, four boys over there, a boy and a girl over here. So, so six grandkids, and so it'll be a busy time over Christmas with the extended family as well. Anyway, today I haven't been down here for a while. It's looking pretty, right? You can see the extension over the back there that I've done recently. Let's go and have a look at that to start with. Let's get down here at ground level. The streets are quiet. My traffic is good. We have had an extension of houses along this road here coming out to this extension. And what I decided after the AI taking control of a whole farming section last episode, I thought I'd lean into it. Um, it is a thing over in England to have sort of, farmhouses or small groups of properties around the farming areas, obviously. So I've given them the ability to build down this road and this circuit here, thinking I could service this area with a bus line down the end there and coming up to here to service this section here. We already have a bus. We already have a bus down here. Let's have a look at this one. Church Street. And then we've got another one here. Green Lane. This is the one I'm interested in. See, its services look all the way out to here. And if you were ever wondering, like, does a public transport help with the expansion of a city? Most definitely. I've noticed during this series that they will build all the way out to here very quickly because there is a service here to pick up people. They are in range of that bus stop. And then, I would expect that because of this station, they will build out to however far they can reach. And the same look down this side, I would imagine that we could have a bus service that drops off here and puts passengers in. Now, I don't really want industry on this side. So I'm going to delete that one and see if I can push a little bit more residential over this side. Now, we could even add in an area a little bit later with extra sections that they can build on. But I really like this idea of sort of melding in some residential area in with the farming area. Okay, now there are a couple of spots that I haven't checked in on for a little while. And in particular, these trains here that stack, that come in and pick up the food. It's called the bangers and mash train. It goes with the fish and chips train. This is the fish and chips that runs down to Fawley, and that's what it carries, fish and chips. The bangers and mash, it actually carries cattle and food. And they have to cross the passenger line, which is probably sitting here waiting. And quite often they do it in tandem, and there's usually always one waiting. And there's always one waiting. Now, I don't have the signaling right here. I don't have a half signal here. Let's get in there. Rail signal. That's about halfway. I'll let this guy pass, and I will actually drop on a halfway on the other side as well. Now, when he's waiting, that means when he clears here, that next guy that's going to come around, he'll push up to here. Now then, there is a train here that needs some work, and it's not him, it's the mate that's on this line, which is this guy. Let's have a look at him. Yeah, look, he's still running the old little flat cars. I noticed him the other day, and I've been meaning to get down here and have a look, all right? Now, the line that we're on here is an experimental line. I wanted to try out this interesting crossover where it uses both sides, and it has, I wanted to try out whether you could have like multiple tracks coming back here on the right, multiple tracks coming down on the left, and depending on whether, if he pulled into the second here, I was thinking that this would be sort of like a very busy line, and as it turned out, it's not actually carrying a lot. And so it actually works. Look, have a look at this decision maker. There's two decision makers on the one line. Now, I've never had this be able to work before, but it's interesting. If you come back on the right-hand line, which is the main line, it can choose the left, right? And if it chooses the left, it can only come back on the left, whereas the main comes back on the right. And therefore, you could have two trains stacking here. Look, on the same line, you could have two trains stacking with two decision makers here. Now, the one on the right, it can go to both. No, it can't. The one on the right can only go to the right, and then it goes back on the right. So once you're on the right, but if you're on the right and you choose left, then you're on the left. You're forced down the left. And at that point, you can choose the right or the left. But if you're on the main, you can only choose the right. So effectively, you could have two trains coming in, one on the right and one on the left. Then they can both pull out, but they can both pull out together because they come back on the right or the left, depending on which way. Now, if you came back on the right, you can choose the left. And then if you come back on the left, look, you can choose the left there on the double switch. No, that's not a double switch, Sims. So you can only choose... Wow, you can only choose the right. because I haven't put that double switch in. So if you chose the left one this time, when you come back, you're forced to choose the right this time, which means then you come back on this one. And so you can have a lot of trains on this line. I wished I had made this line like the primary line for almost everything. But I don't have a lot of stuff coming out of here. They're self-contained here. The meat brings the food back, and that doesn't go through the hub. It passes straight through here and goes up to the meat processing plant up here, and then comes all the way back through and skips the hub altogether. So I thought I'd be shipping all of that food and meat through the hub, and I'm not. I've got the food and the meat coming directly in on these two lines here and running up the back here. So it did work. It worked really well. But I want to switch them off on this left-hand side. There's only two trains on the line, by the way. There's this one that's running all food types, and then there's this one that's running mail and fuel. Okay, so I do want to update this one. If it's running mail and fuel, it's got 6 fuel cars on. So let's swap this around. Just got to remember that it's got 6 mail cars. Okay, let's go those. Oop. So that'll be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's go 12. My experience is 12 and 6 works quite well on some of the other lines I'm using. 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll give it a waste car, because I basically put a waste car on every train. And so the 6 fuel will still carry the 28 that it had before. It does have a waste option. I'm not yeah, in those flat cars, that was a waste option before. And then the mail goes into these. Okay, and then these guys here, we want to do the same. What have we got on? We're pretty full actually. So we'll bring him down. Sorry about the noise. We'll bring him down and we'll change him over on the way back. Is he going to pick up a lot of mail type stuff? He's going to pick up. Well, that's the end of his platform there. So the last train just came through, so there's not a lot here. Hopefully not too much transfers from the other lines. Just getting mail in, I believe. Or is that fish? There's some fish down there. Okay, so pause it, Sims. What have you got on board? You got 28 and 31. That's basically 60. Well, if we go fuel on the back of this one, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we add. So what does that hold? 96, which is more than enough than the 60 that we have on, and then we go 6 of those and one gondola for the waste. We're under 160 meters. Now those two trains will work a lot better. And then I want to switch off like the second half of this option here. So he is on that side. So let's get him to pull out, because when he's in here, he blocks trains from coming in. So right now there should be those two trains coming across together. But whenever there's a train on this platform, it stops that from happening. Yeah, see, we could have had a train that pulled in here. Okay, so now he's clear. Let's grab the line info and we'll switch off at the cargo. Just pause for a second. We'll switch off at the cargo, the additional platform. So 6 is the main. We'll turn 4 off. Okay, so it's going to bug this guy out because he can't get across. He can get into that one. The question will be is what happens here. Oh, he did get across. Look at that. Okay. So if I turn this end off as well, it'll be well, don't do that. It's 9. 7 is the additional. Okay. Okay, so with only 2 trains on the line, they can use this side only. Now then, he's coming through, and because we put the half signal, he can run now. And look, we've actually got 3 lined up now because of me messing with this for a second. And with a train not being able to crisscross each other, this is our worst case scenario, having 3 trains. So he does come straight through onto the front of the line. He can't follow all the way through because the passengers will... Okay, we've got another weird thing here that we have to wait for this passenger to come all the way through before this one will come in, because I can't actually cross these 2 here. I'd like to say I'd like to rethink that, but I don't think it's necessary, because now that I've sorted this guy out, after this train there should be a double pass. So the guy that's lining up to come out and this guy will go in. And that's how I want it to work. I want 2 passenger trains to move, and then I want these 2 to move. Okay, so while that's going on, is there anything else I want to look at? Well, while we're here, why don't we just check in quickly with... Okay, bus services. Nothing is a problem there. We have all single round. Now, if they run smoother in the future, I might... Well, you're going early, mate. So that means the train that's exiting will fly straight out. This will open the doorway for him to come straight out. So they will still do a crossing. It's just this guy initiated it instead of the other side. And the passengers have been held up a little. And we don't have any stacking now. So it reduces the stacking and has a smoother in-out with like 2 trains crossing over at the same time. Okay. So bus services are good. What else can you look at, Sims, while you're here? Cargo. Yeah, look at that. There's nothing, there's not even a large symbol. Oh, there's, what, a little bit of food at this one. Well, that's not a little bit of grain. That's not even a major symbol. That's like 50 or 100. What is it out of curiosity? It's like 2 sand there. That means more than 100, right? On the sand, yeah. And the food, the grain is like more than 50. Yeah. They're not even major symbols. Okay, so we've got a train coming straight in now. Look at this. And he's initiating a crossing. We've got a passenger train that's not even ready to leave yet. He just came in. He's just arrived. So this should all run. Yeah, passenger train's ready to leave. These guys will cross and then the passengers will do their business. And instead of like 3 trains stacking on this side waiting to get through, if this guy used that left platform, that's exactly what would happen. And now, you know, we've got no build-up of goods on the cargo platform. Just out of interest, how much are they sending through here? About 1,500 on average. 1,500 goods through this station. And we've got no problems at the cargo hub. And we're pushing, whoa, over 3,000 goods through this station. Okay, we fixed up those trains. We've got no excess goods here. All right. Now then, I have made a couple of spots down here where I'm allowing very small sections of houses to build on this side of the tracks. And in this section here as well. And then this is our residential expansion area. Now I don't want any industry in here. And it looks pretty good. I don't want these huge pine trees in here. They look stupid. They don't really fit, do they? I'll take out the little one as well. Okay, so we've got a residential expansion area here and, like I said, a little bit down here. Now, my original concern was, how do I service? Let's just go none. And we'll just bring that down in size a little. What do we want to do? We just want to back this. We'll just back it up a little. There we go. All right. How do I service these 3 houses? Especially if they're doing mail. Supply rating. They're getting mail. They don't need mail. And they need mail. So like, how do I get mail to these guys? But this guy's getting it. Now, how is he getting mail sims? Well, is he connected in? And the answer is no, he's not connected in here. He's too far away. So what I did was very sneakily put a connection here. Now, I'm on console. So, you know, you PC guys, you don't have a problem with making like a simple connection into a station like that. Now, they do have to walk across these tracks, which are very dangerous, of course. So I don't know what will happen when they do walk down to the station down here. But I can show you that the configuration on the station is, that's not a station track, the right hand side one, but the left hand side one is. And this, oh look, she just walked across the tracks, look at that. And this one is an invisible platform, which is connected to the second track. And the right-hand track actually goes straight over the top of our invisible platform, which services this very small group of houses here. That's working really well. I haven't seen anyone use it. That's the first time I've seen someone use it. So they do have access to a passenger platform and their mail, because that is Brighton Mail. Okay, everything in here is filled out nicely, and we have made a few changes. Let's look at stations, because yeah, that's all working nicely in there. There's nothing major going on there. Okay, we'll look at Brighton in a second. I just want to see how these truck stops are doing, because this is now a double truck stop with a connection up here. And these guys are super busy. Now, a lot of the goods that came into these truck stops in the middle of Brighton used to come out of here only. But now it's shared. We have some goods coming out of here. I also put a back door in here so that the let's just see, only visible, yeah. So the food and mail that comes over to this side now has a back door. And then if we look over here, we've got an additional distribution point up here at Farmer that is servicing the two that are down here. Now these two are still being serviced by the blue and the brown, which is coming out of New Haven. But with it split, a lot of it's coming through the top end, and only a small amount now is coming through the bottom end, which means I can thin down a lot of this traffic along here. And I can probably thin it down even more. Now I've told these guys to wait. So that's the brown line. Yeah, so I think I'm telling them to wait. No. Are you guys being told to wait? Yeah, you guys are being told to wait. Because I wanted to get an idea of how much... Because we're down to 6 vehicles on this line now. I can probably drop it another one on the brown line. Now, I have color-coded my carriages, and you can see that this is a blue carriage with a blue seat and a blue line down the side. So when I'm looking for a brown carriage, I'm really just looking at the driver and looking at the seat. And there's the brown, and he's carrying. That's a blue. That's a blue. Blue and brown. You're pretty far apart, and you are carrying on the way back, mail and waste. And you guys come all the way down this end. So having 6 on the line isn't too bad, I guess. Like, they're not actually taking anything down here anymore, are they? Well, not much. Now, another reason why I did switch the distribution points was because this one was crazy. I was having trouble keeping up with how much goods were coming through here. And I can show you the train line coming in here and just show you exactly how busy this is. Now, on the left, that's passengers, so, you know, it's not a big deal. So we got 2 main lines here. We got a main line in the middle, and we got a main line on the right-hand side. The middle line shares the 2 middle, and the right-hand main line shares the 2 on the right. And you can see the sort of stacking that's going on here, but we are half signaled through here. because this is so busy. I've got so many trains on these lines trying to get the goods in, the fuel out, the sand out, the food in, the mail in, the waste in and out. No, the waste out. And so I got a line stopping in here, and then they're pretty heavily stacked up here. He's going to stop here, and then you can see that these guys almost crash. Not quite though. And then this line, this is huge goods. Like the goods come in so fast that you need a train in here like all the time you need a train in, because the amount of oil sand that they're taking down, and the oil sand does not go in these. This is to bring sand out and fuel out. So this is an out train, exclusively an out train. And then some of them I've got exclusively as oil sand train. Now, they've got two platforms to come in here, but they're also sharing with these trains, and these trains are super busy as well. This is the mail and waste, hooking up to the waste processing plant. And a lot of mail coming through here as well. Over here we've got food and tools. Another extremely busy line. It's got two platforms here, sharing with a sand train taking sand out of here as well. And then we sneak a passenger train in here as well that links Brighton with Hastings. So we need to have a look. We'll have a look at passengers first. Yeah, that's excellent. Look at that. It's all under control. A train can carry 100. So that's the Southampton waiting to pull in here. And he's on his way down now. More concerning in the past was how many goods were coming through here. So Brighton Cargo, over 4,000. It's handling over 4,000 goods through here. Every quarter, that's 4,000. Yeah, and you know, the worst item here is the oil sand that I can see right in front of me. But here comes our dedicated. No, that our dedicated's already been in and out. You just left. Wow. So he just does a whole 152 of oil sand. He's like a half up, half back. He brings sand up, takes oil sand down. We've got kind of a mixture of trains running through here. If I show you the trains on the line, we've got a fuel train, we've got a couple of halves, and then a full goods wagon train. Now he almost cleared that. Here comes another one. What do we got? Half and half again. He's got to wait. He can go now. Super busy. Super busy. And then the food and fuel is sitting over here. We've got trains coming in to pick up food to take down to New Haven. And then the fuel that's coming out of New Haven can hook up here and go around the corner to where's it go to? Worthing. That's right, Worthing, around the corner. So I think this is probably one of the, I think this even beats, you know, somewhere like Kendall on my other series. Maybe, you know, Endgame Kendall is probably shifting more goods than this, but 1880 moving 4,000 goods through Brighton here. Okay. And we got a little bit of build up of fuel down here. The fuel on this side's being picked up. Some fuel just got picked up here. So the fuel is not as much of an issue now. I guess that's because we've got our full oil sand train just came in, and yeah. And then I've adjusted the buildings over here so that people can walk up onto here. I think they come out of this building and walk. I was hoping they'd come into here, but they're not. And then they can walk under here at New Haven and then pop out on this side of New Haven. Let's have a look. And this stream of people, they're walking across the bridge to a bus stop that's here that distributes them out into that area out there. And instead of having them come in, the buses to come into here, which made this corner was really bad before, but you know, I don't even know if I need this distribution point anymore, really. I probably don't need as much on here as what I have. And then I don't know if I could change these buildings around, maybe. Let's pause it for a second. Can I change these buildings around so that people actually walk in? Let's get rid of that one and that one and that one. What sort of passenger can I fit there? Right. And if you go there, that's better. Okay, I like that. And then over here, let's keep it small, right? We don't need passenger. We probably don't need more passengers, right? Let's go. Let's go a cargo extension and a cargo extension. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. All right, let's press play. Now they can either walk up this platform here through the barrels, or they can walk in there. Oh, well done, sir. There we go. Now our people are walking in and out of the station, and then they should hang a left here and walk down to our passenger connection. That's a passenger platform in there with the underground passage that brings them over to this train here. Okay. All right. Small details, guys, but you know, yeah, I know. I got something weird happening here. I think it's probably because it's dirt road across here. I didn't want them to build anything here, which is why it's dirt. What if I change it? Yeah, it's like it's got no pathway. What if I quickly change it? We go back to dirt? Yeah, there we go. Okay, we'll go back to dirt. All right. So all of our truck stops are kind of intertwined. We've got a new distribution point up here as well, which is linking the waste and con mats and a little bit of food And then this one is linking food and mail over here, which has taken, again, a lot of the pressure off here. Because I was having to bring so many goods down these lines here in, and you can already see that I'm struggling to keep up with what's on these platforms here. And what has actually helped me is this distribution point here. And strangely enough, this one links directly into the main station. So I don't have to transport goods to here, I don't think, to link into this one. Well, with the fuel, they can drop fuel on the way back up. They can drop fuel into here, which links into here. And then this one's the same. I've now got some food and con mats coming in here. How am I doing that, Sims? Because we're distributing con mats and food through this one now. Obviously does waste and mail as well. So this one goes around the corner. That probably brings con mats over. We've got con mats sitting on the platform over here. This is con mats train coming in. What about the train on... Whoa, we got some stacking here. Oh, that's because we've got a similar problem over here. Here's a question. With the way I've changed around the con mats, are these guys like super busy now? Like, he's not going to take a full load. Did he take a full load? Because I've got like 3 trains on this line, right? Which is holding up my passenger trains. You come back empty, basically. Alright, at 0 we're going to sell this guy. He's not making a profit and he's not running full. So as the 46 goes to 0 we sell. Gone. Okay, I've got some interesting little populations popping up over here. And what I want to do is I want to say no to industry. I really don't want industry on this side if I can help it. So I really just want them to spawn residents, which they have. Now, look, we've got people moving around here. And I can tell you that I did something tricky over here as well. You can see the fingers here. So when I show the station, you'll see that there is an invisible platform connecting this here. Which means people can stop here and get onto the platform. They're also getting supplied with goods. If I did have industry over here, they would be supplied, which is why they're trying to be supplied over here. Let's go none. Just take out that little bit of crop there, crop there. Just give them a little bit of space. Do the same over here. Don't really need to over here. This is pretty good. Okay. That's how I'm getting houses connected on this side. Now these ones are not, and I was actually thinking of saying no to these ones, but if they're just residents, I can run a single carriage along here and help these guys out. At the moment, they have to travel. And as you can see, they are all traveling. Which is why there are horse and carts on the road, because these guys are not connected in. And that's why you've got horses and carriages running this road. And I don't mind that. They can travel if they want. It's not very far. It's just down to here. Or it's just across the bridge, which, by the way, I did lower. I did sink the bridge into the ground here and told it to build up a much lower position. And that means, well, we got no trains around here, seems. That means it's a very low bridge. Much lower than it was previously. So I was thinking of trashing it and putting a railroad crossing, a road crossing, sorry, across here. But I decided to keep the bridge because I could get it fairly low. It was way up in the air before. I think I'm happy with that. Okay, finishing up with Hastings. Now that food line is basically doing what it's doing: food, fish, cattle, mail, all on the one line, which is super busy down here. That would be this oh no. So we got Conmats up the back here. That's our food. Look at our food line. Okay. Now then, we did take a Conmats train off here. And so there's only 2 trains on this line now, which should mean the passengers should get through better. We still have stacking of passengers. I guess I want the passengers to sneak up, right? I want a half signal. There's the 2 signals there. I want a half signal there. Is that you? I don't think I'm using this inside line, am I? This was if I was going to sneak another passenger service across here from here. However, there's not enough passengers, well, there wasn't enough passengers here to warrant anything else. Like they're going around the corner here and then they transfer at Bexhill here. So there are a few passengers over this side, and it is a tiny train. It's only carrying a maximum of 55. But there isn't a lot of passengers on that line. Does it make money with that being that small? Oh, wrong button. It actually does. It actually makes money being that small. Okay. Alright, so other than our food line, which is this train here, it'd have to be this one as well. You're making a ton of cash. What's the primary? Is the primary the right? At Hastings, the primary is 9. And that's the right one. And the additional should be like 7. Yeah. Okay. Alright, we're good. Alright. That means one of the last things I want to show you is I lent into this expansion even heavier. I gave them a little bit of expansion down here. I've even given them access on this road here to build just along this section here. And then I lent in real heavy with an extension all the way through here and potentially off the map. So the little bit of farmland that was here is gone. Now I want to show you I want to show you something. So to initiate, you might ask, why is this guy keep building back here if it's a road, that you can't build on? Okay, this is what I think is happening. I put this section of road in, just that section there. Can I even get smaller? No, that was the smallest section I could make. Okay, that section there. So I put that section in, and I'll do that now. And then they started building here. And I think what it does is it takes the no build tag off that section of road. That's the section of road that says you can build here. And it just keeps building industry. Maybe you just leave it, Sid. Like, really? Okay. Once they start building, once you make the change to be a road type that they can build on, when you change it back to a dirt road, it doesn't change the no build tag on that road. What it does do is it allows them to continue to build on that section of road, even though it's now a dirt road. Now, I discovered this by accident. When I converted this road back to dirt, all the way along here, they continued to build on it, even though I had, that was my farmland. There was some weed in there. And they, I deleted them, but they kept building back there. And I discovered, that just because I turned it back to a dirt road, they still had the permission to build on this road. The permission was never taken off by putting the dirt road back here. The way that you can stop them from building in a section of road that was previously done, if they had already started building here, right, what I would have to do is actually delete that section of road, put in a brand new road from here to here, and now it's got the no build tag on it, so no one will build here. You can't just change back a section of, I can't just change back this section to dirt and say stop building on here. Now, I did notice this on my other series actually, but I wasn't entirely sure what was going on. But with this scenario here, it's totally proven the point that just by changing it to dirt doesn't mean anything. They will still build on it if it was previously a street. This station used to be overflowing with a lot of sand and a lot of fuel. And the fuel kind of builds up each time this guy comes in, because he doesn't carry fuel. He carries anything but fuel. Well, I don't think he carries anything back with him. A little bit of mail, maybe. Yeah, but the next 3 trains carry fuel. Well, he did. Did he take a full load? Yeah. 63 fuel. Not as much sand. Maybe you need to rethink how much sand you're taking out of here compared to fuel sims. Because the sand is totally under control, but the fuel is not. And you've got a train here that's doing... Okay, change this guy. Okay, this train here is a half-half. Yeah, you got 3 doing sand and 1 doing fuel. Let's change that quickly. Okay, you've got 1 less half sand and 1 extra fuel, half fuel. This train's having trouble keeping up, this train line. This train line's having trouble keeping up with the fuel coming out of here. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching today. This episode was kind of just like a review, a little bit of troubleshooting, showing you I've been tinkering with trying to get the balance right on most of these lines, especially in these heavy flow areas. Trying to get my signaling right so my trains can run in here as often as possible. I've played around with, you know, some residential areas in the farmland on the opposite side of the tracks and extending out places like Southampton. I've already wished you all a Merry Christmas, but again, have a great one, guys. Enjoy the holiday season, and oh my God, if I don't speak to you again beforehand, yeah, have a great one. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye for now.